So Tommy Rees, and we talked about it earlier in this show. Tommy Rees reportedly the new offensive coordinator. I know you wrote an article about what the Browns were looking for. Your thoughts on Tommy Rees as the Browns' new OC?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting move, largely because, Reese doesn't have any play calling or offensive coordinator experience at the NFL level. He does have it at the college level. Obviously, did it under Nick Saban in 2023 at Alabama, helped lead that Alabama team to the college football playoff. He did it at Notre Dame for several years before that, his alma mater. So yeah, like he's got some of that, but it does seem like he's kind of this up and coming hot name right now for OC jobs. He obviously and even I guess larger scale jobs because he did interview for the UNC head coaching position before they offered it to Bill Belichick and Bill Belichick took it. So it seems like he's kind of this name on the rise. There was also reports that Mike Vrabel, who obviously just took the Patriots job, was considering bringing in Tommy Rees for an interview to potentially be his offensive coordinator. Those two apparently developed a really nice relationship over the last year, with Vrabel serving as the consultant and Rees being the tight ends coach. And we know Vrabel sort of started the year really working closely with the tight end room. So they seem to get pretty close, and seems like he's sort of made this name for himself where he's somebody that other coaches and other teams are sort of considering as again kind of this guy on the rise. So I think it makes sense. I do think I think it makes sense that they kind of tapped into this guy who's kind of rising the ranks right now, and having somebody a young guy that they can maybe develop into something at that in that role. I will say this though, I do think the one thing this does sort of cement for me is the fact that I do think this probably means Kevin Stefanski
Mm-hmm.
retains the play calling and takes that back next year. This kind of feels like Reese being in sort of that advisory role, working alongside Stefanski, kind of learning. Not that he doesn't know how to be an OC, he did it at college, like I said, but sort of like learning in the NFL what it takes to sort of do that. With Stefanski kind of calling the shots, and he'll be a partner on this. I don't want to make it sound like Kevin Stefanski's just going to like supersede him or trump him at every corner. But I do think like this kind of signals to me like Stefanski takes back the play calling, and Reese is sort of in that supporting role where he has input, he brings some things to the table, helps map out the game plan, but Stefanski's kind of the big play caller on game days.
The other thing I would say is, will if let's draw the lines back to Jalen Milroe, because when he was the offensive coordinator at Alabama, Jalen Milroe was his quarterback. So they're going to have some intel that not everybody else will have relative to one of the lower, behind the first two guys in the draft.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I think I sort of I had thought about something like that earlier, but I didn't like dive into it too much. But yeah, connecting the dots on that is pretty interesting because again, along the lines of the conversation we were having to open up the segment here, like, do you take multiple quarterbacks? Do you wait and take a quarterback? And if Milroe's a guy that you can get on day two, maybe that means the Browns decide, hey, we're going to trade back. We really like what Tommy's telling us about Milroe, so we'll take maybe two players on day one in the first round and bolster some other areas while also then, going to get Milroe in like the second or third round. And now all of a sudden you got a quarterback that you can sort of sell and feel maybe good about developing as time goes on with a guy he's worked closely with before. So that is another interesting wrinkle into the Tommy Rees hire as we talk about this upcoming quarterback class landscape and who maybe is on the table for the Browns to take.